I think a lot of people would think it's reasonable to ask, plain and simple, is it acceptable for protesters to throw rocks through windows when they're protesting global economic policies?
Acceptable?
Yeah.
Or effective?
Acceptable behavior on the part of the protesters.
Yes.
Should society put up with that?
Yes, yes, yes. Because it's absolutely. I think that it's not effective. I think it's one of the protest rituals and behaviors that we've kind of repeated. But I don't think it's unacceptable behavior.
Okay. What about the climate change movement that we see around the world gathering a lot of steam and I think a lot of success as well? A lot of people, mainstream people, well outside the protest movement, now accept the premise and the science behind climate change. Governments are moving on it. We saw an agreement in Paris. Even energy companies, the producers of oil and gas, are at least talking the talk on climate change. What's that telling you about the state of the modern protest movement? It looks to me like a big success.
This is the thing, is that I think that one of the problems with contemporary activism is that we've lowered our horizon of possibility. And right now, the dominant kind of narrative is that the best we can do is raise awareness about things and get the people in power to kind of parrot our language. And I think that that's what we've basically achieved with the climate movement, is that we've gotten to a situation where, yeah, we've raised awareness around this issue enough that people in power seem to parrot the language of the environmental movement. But have we gotten into a position where we actually have a binding global agreement that's going to substantially change the way that our economies are run in order to have a long-term reversal of climate change, or at least mitigation? Have we come to a situation where borders have been eradicated so that climate refugees are allowed to freely move across borders just like capital is? No, obviously not. So to achieve these wider and deeper revolutionary changes, it needs a social movement. I think that we need to stop pinning our hopes on just trying to get people in power to kind of use our language. I mean, it's kind of like how in arts and culture, like when you create cool new kinds of music, eventually it makes its way into advertising commercials. But that doesn't mean that you've succeeded. So social movements need to constantly remind themselves that the ultimate goal is to become the ones in power, not just influencing the ones in power.
Okay, last thought, Bernie Sanders. What do you think of his success thus far?
I think it's a positive thing, but again, it's not the ultimate goal. He's a symptom of Occupy Wall Street, but what we need is a social movement that can actually get into power.